Ugh, what a stench. It's fantastic.
And it was so boring.
Is that what I think it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
I hate them.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was so awful.
You can't handle the truth.
Welcome to the inaugural episode of See It, Stream It, Skip It, a movie podcast that we will hopefully be doing across the Metro News radio networks. I am your host, Ethan Collins, and we started this podcast because we sat here and said, you know, nobody talks about movies across our networks, and we definitely wanted to get that out there. But I will let my co-host, Celeste Ellis, explain how the format is going to work for this podcast.
Okay, so these are going to be spoiler-free reviews for current movies that are in theaters, and they're each going to be assigned a ranking. Either see it, this is the best ranking, this is you need to go see this movie immediately, the experience is going to be better if you're in theaters. Stream it, a good movie, enjoyable, but save your time, save your money, and watch this at home. Or skip it, and those are movies that I wish I had my 2 hours back. These are movies that you can go ahead and skip.
And it also should be mentioned that we're going to do 2 movies for each episode. One is kind of a box office hit, I guess you could say, has a lot of anticipation. So we try to do one really popular, a lot of people are wanting to see. And then we try to do one that's like a small studio, maybe you haven't heard of. And we hope you listen to this podcast and you haven't heard of this movie or have maybe slightly heard of this movie and said, oh, that actually sounds pretty interesting. And I think I may go see that movie. But yeah, I mean, this is something we've been wanting to do for a pretty long time. We consider ourselves letterbox connoisseurs. And now it's time to make it official with our, my career in radio. I just kind of brought you along.
Well, I have no qualifications other than I love movies, and this isn't a brag, but maybe a call for help, but I did see 66 movies in theaters last year.
I think I saw 68, so.
Wow.
But,
I'm underachieving.
But at the same time, though, I'm pretty sure the only ones that I saw by myself was, like, when Star Wars came back into theaters. And
oh, see, I have a very strict rule that I don't count anything that's a re-release.
Oh, so she saw 66 new movies.
Yes.
Wow.
I love movies.
Well, I mean, I love movies too. I mean, I'm pretty much your go-to movie person. In fact, after this, we're going to catch Top Gun coming back into theaters.
Yeah.
The original Top Gun. Top Gun Maverick is also back into theaters for 1 week only, so by the time this comes out, maybe Friday or Saturday or something like that, you only have about maybe half a week to go and see it. But if you listen to this immediately and you're like, I didn't know Top Gun was back in the theaters, and you're a big fan of that, go out and check some of your old movies. I know you being a millennial, me being a Gen Z, we are young. We didn't get to see Top Gun in the theaters. So this is kind of a fun experience for me.
And you can double dose it. So if you want to see the original Top Gun and then the complement Top Gun Maverick, you can see those together in theaters.
So, like I say, we're going to do 2 movies. We'll usually do the blockbuster hit essentially right off the bat. And I think I'm going to play a little bit of the trailer for you. I'm pretty proud of this with some sound effects. And then we'll get to the lesser known movie as well. So we will take a quick break and come back with the box office hit, or more popular movie, if you will. And once again, you are listening to the inaugural episode of See It, Stream It, Skip It.
Hello?
Well, look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
Sorry. Who is this? Do you know her? Do I know her?
I'm Andy Sachs. Andrea?
She was one of the Emilys.
One of the what?
Devil Wears Prada 2, starring Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci, directed by David Frankel, is the follow-up long-awaited sequel of Miranda Priestley nearing retirement, and she reunites with Andy Sachs to face off against her former assistant turned rival Emily Charlton. And that is a very brief explanation from Letterboxd, not describing kind of the plot at all in this movie, and there's a lot more to dive into. But anyway, so let's get started with this. Celeste, I'll let you kind of go first on your initial thoughts, but I do want to say this before we start. I had never seen Devil Wears Prada to start going into this. I knew we were going to see this movie, so I watched the first one. I did not enjoy the first one. I thought it was the classic example of workplace bullying, and I just didn't like that. But I really enjoyed the follow-up sequel to this.
So I think you're pointing out something that maybe fans of the original may take issue with in the sequel, and that's that Miranda Priestley is a little toned down for this one. I've heard people complaining that she's not mean enough, that they expect a lot more meanness from this character. But for me, that wasn't an issue because, you know, it's been 20 years. I expect that Miranda Priestley would have a little bit of personal growth, and it's 2026, so probably a lot of therapy and therapy speak. But I like the original. The original is not my favorite. I don't have the same nostalgia for the original that I think a lot of viewers of this movie have. That being said, I really liked this one. I think this brings a certain comfort. This is a comfort movie. This is less intense, less bullying. The original Devil Wears Prada is very stressful. This one's a lot more of a light watch, I would say.
And also, I mean, we'll kind of dive into a little bit of the plot here without getting too much into spoilers, but I think there's a part of this movie that I personally relate to as a journalist and how hard it is to kind of make it in this current world of everybody having access to every information. Almost everybody's a journalist, so to speak, and it's hard to produce content, no matter how good it is, for people to sit and read it, kind of like the good old days.
Well, that's a reminder that the original Devil Wears Prada came out in 2006, so that's before...
Hey, Blackberries were starting to come out then, weren't they?
But it's before 2008 when a lot of media personalities lost their jobs initially in that first wave of post-financial crash layoffs for media jobs. And this story takes place in a very different media landscape. So not only does Miranda Priestley need to sell Runway magazine, she also needs to sell her short form video content every day, and things are a lot more global. So the scale of this film is a lot different than the original as well.
I don't necessarily think this is a spoiler because anybody can look up the cast list, but Lucy Liu is in this movie.
Lucy Liu is in this movie for 2 minutes.
But she plays a
pivotal role, but it was a very small part. I was surprised that they got such an A-list actress to play such a very small part in this film.
Well, I will say, when you're a cult classic like Devil Wears Prada, you can probably get a lot, especially in a market such as fashion, you're going to be able to get a lot of cameos, especially in a sequel, as opposed to the original. The original only had, I apologize, I only know her as Tom Brady's wife. That was the only cameo that
her
I
name
thought
is
of.
Giselle Bundchen.
Yeah. I probably should know that because she's more famous than Tom Brady, but unfortunately I'm a sports guy, so that's the only way that, or I actually probably should say ex-wife.
Yes.
Is Tom
Famously ex-wife. This movie did have a lot more cameos. They leaned really heavily into the IP. So for this movie, I think they were able to sign a lot higher names. I won't spoil this. There's a very fun musical guest in this movie that makes an appearance. But the quality of this one's much different. The budget's higher. The talent that they've included is a lot different. So I think overall, if you liked the appeal of the first movie, this is going to really hit a soft spot for you.
Well, that's what the next question I was going to ask you is that we hear all the time in today's world that there is no originality. Everything's a sequel, prequel, requel, reimagining, remake, whatever it is. But, and I hate to keep going back to Top Gun, but I think of Top Gun Maverick in kind of the same. This is chick flick Top Gun Maverick. This is a movie that you can go see with your gal pals and really enjoy the greatness of the first one and enjoy kind of an original story just with the same characters and the same concepts.
I think this one adds a lot to the world building. In the first movie, we just get a lot of the inner workings of Runway. This one takes on a lot larger of a topic. So not just how is Miranda treating her employees, but how are journalists finding work post-2008 media environment?
That's another question that I was going to ask you. Somewhat controversial. I don't know. A lot of people came back from the first film into this film. There is one person that is not in it, and it was the love interest of Anne Hathaway and Andy Sachs in the first film. He does not return, and there is a different love interest in this. I enjoy the love interest in this one a lot more than I did in the first one.
I think it's like a common consensus across the fandom that no one liked her original boyfriend in the first film. So I think everybody's going to appreciate that they just sort of pretend he didn't exist for this film. Which, why would she care? It's been 20 years. They broke up in 2006. I'm sure she's not thinking about this guy. So I thought it was a nice way to keep him out of the plot.
So I was going to ask you next. We're in the final 2 minutes here of this segment. So this is kind of where we get into the self-title of, do you want to see it? Do you want to stream it? Or do you want to skip it? And my answer is going to be a bit complicated, so I'll let you go first.
Mine is a C. I'm a see it. I'm a see it all the way with this one. I think it's a really fun theater experience. The show that we actually went to, it was a pretty full theater. I think you're going to enjoy the atmosphere of having other people around. I think this is going to be fun if you take some friends, if you have a group to go with, you know, your coworkers. This is a good crowd-pleasing movie. I think it's going to be worth it to spend your money and time to go see this in theaters.
I think it's only a see it if you have it on a girls' night out. I mean, I hate to single out the men here, but a lot of men probably won't like this movie. I really do think that this is, you go to see it with your mother-in-law, or you go to see it with your sisters, or you go to
especially go to see it with your mother-in-law if she's been mean to you for 20 years. If she's your own personal Miranda Priestley.
What are you hinting at here?
Nothing.
Well, I was about to say, what are you hinting at here?
I have an excellent mother-in-law, but that's not everyone's experience.
Oh, I mean, like I say, the thing about it is like, I enjoyed this movie, and I actually enjoyed it more than the first one. So I'll give it a see it as well. I enjoyed the fact that I went to go see this in theater.
I also liked this one more than the first one.
All right, so that's going to do it for the box office hit. Now time for the lesser-known movie.
One of the members of staff is missing.
What do they think happened to her?
Go home.
Well, you still look like your passport picture.
Demons do exist. It's just people with closed minds. Can't see them.
Hokum, starring Adam Scott, Peter Cohen, David Wilmot, and Florence Ordish, and directed by Damian McCarthy. When novelist Ohm Bowman retreats to a remote inn to scatter his parents' ashes, he is consumed by tales of a witch haunting in the honeymoon suite. Disturbing visions and a shocking disappearance forces him to confront the dark corners of his past. I think the synopsis there with the dark corners of his past really kind of fills a spoiler, sort of, in this. But, Celeste, I did not come into this movie with very high expectations. I thought it was going to be just one of those horror movies that was going to try to give me the heebie-jeebies and scare me. Personally, myself, don't really like going to see horror movies in the theater that much because I don't like to show that I'm scared out in public. But this was an absolutely fantastic movie.
I had high expectations for this. I usually love an Adam Scott project. He makes good choices when he selects films. I don't think I've disliked anything that I've seen him in. So when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was very intrigued. And I think it does something that a lot of actually, horror movies do this pretty well, but I think mainstream movies could take a cue. They keep the trailers really vague, so they're not giving everything away. I think that's really a great marketing scheme, and it really works for this movie. You go in not knowing a lot, and everything is sort of a surprise.
I tend to agree. I think this movie does a really good job of holding everything together, and there's a lot of subplots in this movie. I think there's a lot of, like, in a video game you call them side missions. There's a lot of side storylines into this movie that converge onto kind of a main plot, and it fits together really, really well. But I love what you said about Adam Scott because he plays an absolutely unlikable character. He is a horrible person in this movie.
And that somehow makes him even more intriguing as a character, I think.
And I could not see anyone playing that character other than Adam Scott.
He does a fantastic job. He's great in everything. I can't say anything bad about Adam Scott. This movie, though, I also liked the writing, the directing. I think it looks haunting. It does a really good job of keeping things very creepy, of really building just an air of suspense from start to finish. Because he is such an unlikable, unpredictable character, it really makes it hard to know what he is going to do next.
And we both, you and I both know that you really would like to go to Ireland someday, and this takes place in Ireland. You saw the creepy side now of Ireland. Does that make you any less wanting to go?
More. That makes me want to go more. No, it's haunting and creepy, but it's beautiful. So this is a folk story. It's, I think, the exact level of creepiness that I like in a horror movie. Important for me, I don't like horror movies that are overly gruesome or
overly jump scares.
No, I don't mind a jump scare. I don't like gross for no purpose other than being gross. This isn't gross. It's jumpy. There are a lot of jump scares, but I think that they're earned. It's not surprise. This is a thing that we've thrown in last minute to scare you. Every thrill is earned through this movie.
And I think they do a great job of building tension through sound.
Yes.
As you could tell in the trailer that we played there's a lot of, like, bells in this movie that actually have a lot to do with the plot of the movie. Sort of they play big things. And the bells just gave off such a creepy tone in this movie that it makes me never want to have a doorbell again.
Or see a wind chime. This, I think, also doesn't fall into sort of stereotypical horror where everything, the main cause is a demon. I like that this was sort of a different angle for a horror movie. You still get haunting, you still get creepy, but it's not all linked to a recurring demon character. I guess I'm just saying that I'm sort of tired of the Conjuring model. I feel like I've seen that movie 15 times. So I was really happy to see something that has sort of a similar ambiance, but has a different plot.
And one more thing that I want to mention before we get into our picks, I guess you could say, on this is the fact that I'm going to kind of reference the ending here, but I have gotten so tired of really good movies with really good build-up and a really good story, and then in the last 5 minutes, they just do something stupid to just completely ruin the movie for you. That does not happen in this movie. There's kind of a calm, settling down point, and there's no real, like, jump scare or, oh no, what's going to happen next? Or, something like that.
It has a firm ending. I don't feel like they're leading you into a sequel, which is actually what I dislike more about the killer is still alive at the end trope in horror movies. I don't care that you're leaving me with a little bit of an unfinished ending. I don't like that I can feel that you're already marketing a sequel to me in the first movie. That
a 2-hour advertisement for production.
Yeah, that doesn't happen here. I like that everything gets wrapped up in the end. I'm a big fan of this one. I really liked it.
Well, then I'll let you go first. See it, stream it, or skip it.
This is a stream it for me, and that's only because it is kind of really scary. I am already partial to the jumping, so I couldn't see this in theaters again because I may, kick the person in front of me because it did really make me jump. This is a stream it for me, but only because it is really creepy. If you love that experience, I think it is a see it for you.
I was about to say, I think I'm going to go see it on this. I thought it was just well done, and the tension that builds, I think you get less of that if you're not in a theater.
Yeah, if I watched this at home, I would probably watch it with the lights on, so it would lose a little bit of that creepy air.
And, at home, you can start and pause and just, kind of recover and catch your breath. This movie kind of is one of those where it does allow you to breathe at some points, but there's a point to why they're tension building. Why they're getting to where they are.
Yeah, all of the moments of levity that are scattered throughout the film, there are really funny points. Adam Scott is just a very traditional comedic actor. He has really good timing. So all of the funny parts, I think those just build the suspense even more. They don't do anything to dampen it. So this did creep me out. So it's a stream for me exclusively because I don't want to be that scared again.
And we got 1 minute left here, and I'm going to leave with this. It's a small budget, small marketed film, and they did a really good job, and I think it's very important that you go to, I talked about originality. This is original, and we need to go out and support that sort of thing.
That's
true.
So
if you're a once every other week or once a week movie-going person, go and see this movie.
Right.
So 40 seconds here to wrap this up. Honestly, I just want to say this. I thought this was really fun, to discuss this. We're going to see Top Gun Maverick, or Top Gun tonight, and we'll be going with 2 more next week. And I know you're really excited to talk about one in particular.
So next week, we're going to be discussing Mortal Kombat and Sheep Detectives.
Which
and
we've already seen Sheep Detectives.
Yeah,
so.
We already have a jump start on Sheep Detectives, but I'm so excited to talk about it.
Alrighty, thank you all for listening to See It, Stream It, Skip It.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.